Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 15 of our 19 days of June. We only have 4 days left after this one of this particular series, but I wanted to kind of bring that up now ahead of time in the sense of reminding all of us, and it's just as much a reminder for me as it is for you, that it doesn't, not that it doesn't even have to, it doesn't end this 19 days, however you've done it, in whichever order you've done it, whenever you've done it, whether it's been in real time with us here or you've found it after the fact and you're just following along, which is amazing, right? It's timeless, but it's this 19 days is really a foundation setting more than anything. So I just wanted to bring that up now because sometimes we can kind of forget. And it's a good reminder ahead of when us getting to the end of this particular series is that it's not actually the end, it's just a new foundation from which you are operating and from which I am operating, again. So it's it's really important to remember that when it comes to these practices, especially when it comes to perfection. Perfection can really mess us up. I say that from experience, but perfection can really mess us up. So if we, instead of trying to be perfect with everything, sorry, quote unquote perfect with everything, instead of trying to be perfect with everything, what if we just use each each step as a new foundation that then helps us build upon that and then helps us go from there, which is very much like the practice we're going to be doing today, which is again an extension of a couple of the practices that we've already done. If you Let me start afresh here for a moment. If you are just jumping in on this one and you're not done any of the others, that's okay. You don't need to. You can start right here. But if that also means that we haven't met before, my name is Jess Jash. I'm the owner and founder of J-Leigh. And here at J-Leigh, we specialize in embodied leadership training and coaching, particularly around emotional intelligence, communication, and stress management, nervous system awareness. So, all of these tools that help us be better leaders for ourselves, which then reflects how we lead others, right? So, I work a lot with groups and teams with my Embodied Leaders Academy, as well as in private coaching containers. So there's private coaching that is over a certain period of time, as well as specialized VIP days for one on one or particular groups as well. So that's what we do around here, just in the very tiny nutshell, just to give you a bit of context. So today's practice, we are going to come back to our alternate nostril breathing that we've practiced previously. Again, if you haven't done that one yet, that's okay. We're going to go over it. But it's also blended with our box breathing or our square breath. So that is where we breathe in for a certain length, hold the breath for that certain length, that same length, or up to that same length, breathe out for the same length, and hold the breath for that length, right? So, what we're going to be doing is practicing that a little bit with our alternate nostril breathing. So, it's a bit of an extension, a blend of our Nadi Shodhana, our alternate nostril breathing, as well as our box breathing. So, just really letting it expand from there. We will build up to those holds, especially because we're breathing in and out through one nostril at a time. Um, Same warnings as previously. If you are pregnant or have another condition that means that holding your breath is not a good idea, please don't hold your breath. Please just choose not to, and please just continue the normal pace and cadence of your breath. Even if you don't have a condition and you practice it and it starts to feel like not the best option for you, please don't hold the breath. You decide, you're in charge of your practice, but I need to say it out loud multiple times. Instances where you might not where you might not do the practice as is cued, and that is totally, totally okay. So that is one thing. The other thing is safety. If you've been listening to these or watching these each day, you'll know that I'm a broken record here, but I'm okay with that. If you are driving, if you are doing something that requires your attention for safety purposes, please don't take your attention away to do this practice. You can practice it in a way that you can while you're paying appropriate attention to the road, to whatever it is. But please, like, don't take your hands off the wheel kind of thing. Don't do any of that. Again, you're in charge of your practice. You're in charge of how you do this. But I want and I need you to know that you don't need to do it exactly to still get the benefit, especially if you happen to listen to these while you're driving. I listen to podcasts mostly when I'm driving as well. So I understand, but just make sure that you're aware of that too. So let's let me explain again what the alternate nostril breathing is before we get into it, because I've explained what we're doing with the cadence of the breath and the hold. But for those of you who need the reminder, or um, who haven't done this before, this is the alternate nostril breathing. If you're a bit sinusy or a bit blocked in your sinuses in your nose, this may not be comfortable for you to do it this way. So just breathe how you need to, and just imagine, right? Um, in those cases, we will rely on the power of our imagination because it still has intention behind it. So it doesn't have to be, all of this is really to say it doesn't have to be perfect. We just get to do it as we do it. But assuming that you are doing this fully with me, I'm going to do it fully, or explain it fully, and then you choose what that iteration of this practice looks like for you. So you might, I'm going to use my right hand. You use your preferred hand, but for lefts and rights, I'm going to sort of refer to that. So place your peace fingers of your hand that you're using just between your eyebrows, just as a bit of a headrest, but also a connection point. You can use the other hand to hold the elbow if you like, if that feels comfortable for you. And then have your thumb and ring finger ready. So if you're watching this, you can see easily which one is my ring finger on my right hand. It's the one with the rings on it. It seems obvious, but once we're in it, sometimes we get caught up. You're like, oh, which one? What am I doing? So if that helps to just anchor in on something, go ahead. So what we are doing is you seal off the right nostril with, let's say it's your thumb, but with whatever finger is on that side, seal it off, breathe in through the left nostril, and then we will hold, and then seal off the left nostril with the other finger that's on that side, and breathe out through the right. Then we breathe back in through the right, seal it off, hold, and then out through the left. And we will hold in between the sides too. So it'll be breathing in through one side, hold, out through the other, hold, back in through that other, hold, out through the first, hold. That's one complete round. So it's really going to just be that little bit of a cadence. I'm going to talk you through it. If you have a different cadence of breath, like a different pace of breath, please work with what you need to. Remember, it's not a race. So we're not rushing. There's no race. It's not going to make it go quicker. So there's no race. But you may need to sort of shorten it. Or if you're working with a longer breath, great. You work with that one. So what I will do is I'll count us through, probably at first, I'll probably slightly extend it as we go, but I'll count us through a 4 count in, and then a 2 count hold, and then a 4 count out, and a 2 count hold. And then I'll extend that hold. And then we might extend the entirety just by a count or so as we go on, as we go through these rounds. So I'm going to do about 5 rounds, I think. Let's see how we go, but get yourself into position, peace fingers between your eyebrows if you're using your hand, thumb and thumb and ring finger already. See, I got that wrong already. And take a deep breath in and out. Just prepare. Seal off your right nostril. Breathe in through your left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 2, 1. Seal it off. Breathe out through your right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 2, 1. In through the right. Breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 2, 1. Out through the left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 2, 1. In left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Out through the right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. In through the right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Out left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. All right. In left. Hold. Out right. Hold. In right. Hold. Out left. Hold. In left. Hold. Out right. Hold. In right. Hold. Out left. Hold. Last round. In left. Hold. Out right. Hold. In right. Hold. Out left. Hold. Let your hand relax. Take a deep breath in through both nostrils. Long breath out. There you go. That might have felt a little challenging. It might have felt a little complicated. We are aiming to uncomplicate things. So, this is just to show you that sometimes the brain is going to want something to focus on, and sometimes that's not going to work. So, it might work on some days, and other days you're like, nah, this is just too complicated. I need to simplify it even more. This is to show you the different ways, the different varieties that we can do this, and just have all of these little mindfulness practices accessible to us, right? So that's why we're doing this, to just give ideas, to give practices, but also just to have that consistency. That consistency is going to be more important and more powerful than almost what we actually do in that 5-10 minutes, if it's even that long. So, thank you for joining me. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I will see you again tomorrow for our day 16. And yeah, we'll explore more then.